I'm sorry, I've fallen in love with my sister's fiancé too. My little sister, Lindsay, said with a wicked grin. Even though her health isn't the best, my beautiful sister has taken so much from me. And now, even my fiancé. Our parents dote on her and are entirely on her side. As if that wasn't enough, my fiancé's behavior has started to change. Could I be about to lose everything to her again? My name is Alyssa, and I'm 28 years old. Right now, I'm in the car with my fiancé, Jack, on our way to my parents' house to announce our engagement. He glanced at me and spoke with a troubled look. What's wrong, Alyssa? You seem a bit down today. I was just thinking, maybe we don't need to go all the way there to announce our engagement. No way. I'm serious about marrying you, Alyssa. We need to tell your parents properly. That might be true, but first impressions are crucial, you know. We're going to be family, so it's important to keep these relationships. If Jack says so, I have to believe him. We met during college through a club and have been dating with marriage in mind. I do love him and want to marry him, and I understand the importance of reporting to my parents. But I had a reason for not wanting to bring him to my family home. When we arrived, my mother greeted us with a big smile. Alyssa, it's been a while. Is this Jack? Nice to meet you, I'm Alyssa's mom. Nice to meet you, I'm dating Alyssa. My name is Jack. Oh my, you're so charming. I'm not convinced Alyssa is a fit for someone like you. No, that's not true. If anything, Alyssa is too good for me. Look at you being so modest, Jack. While my mom made lively conversation with Jack, she led us into the living room. Just then, my dad, who had been reading the newspaper, looked up and blurted out. What's this, Alyssa? You come home after so long and bring a man with you? Dad, please stop that. Jack is my fiancé. A fiancé, huh? A handsome guy like him doesn't suit a plain person like you. What's that supposed to mean? Yeah, a fine young man like Jack would be more suited to your little sister, Lindsay. Dad, please stop. He looked puzzled and asked me who Lindsay was. Just then, the door at the back opened. It's been a while, Alyssa. Her name is Lindsay. My real sister. She has pale skin and chestnut hair, and long lashes that make her look like a doll. Anyone would call her cute and beautiful. The reason I didn't want to bring him home was because of her. She's always been frail but beautiful, receiving all of our parents' love and growing up spoiled. Her personality has become increasingly selfish, wanting everything I have. Alyssa, that's a cute dress. Lend it to me. No way. I bought it with my part-time job money. What, you won't lend it to your sister? That's mean. Lindsay, stop wanting everything I have right away. Remember the necklace I lent you last time? You ended up losing it. I can't help it, I just lost it. That's why I'm not lending you anything anymore. Fine then, I'll just tell Mom and Dad. Lindsay always runs to our parents crying when she doesn't get her way, and then looks pleased as she watches them scold me. It was still bearable when it was just clothes or toys. But there was even a time she stole a boyfriend from me. I just couldn't like her. That's why I didn't want to bring Jack back to my parents' house. Jack was dazed, looking at my sister who is so different from me. Seeing his surprise, she smiled brightly and introduced herself. Are you Jack? Nice to meet you, I'm Lindsay, her sister. Ah, nice to meet you. You're quite different from Alyssa, I was surprised. A lot of people mention that we don't really seem like sisters. Indeed, you're very different. Both of my parents laughed at our conversation. Seeing that, Lindsay smiled her usual devilish smile. That's why I didn't want to bring him. Everyone ends up liking Lindsay. Jack probably will too eventually. Tears welled up in my eyes, but crying here would play right into Lindsay's hands. I held back my frustration and spoke to Jack. Hey Jack, let's go home, okay? But we just got here, and we haven't properly greeted everyone. Come on, we've seen the family, and we've talked enough. What's wrong, Alyssa? You look so scared. Please, I just want to go home. If we stay here any longer, I might lose Jack to her too. I was desperate to leave as soon as possible. Okay. Just as Jack stood up. Oh my gosh, it hurts. Lindsay suddenly started to suffer and crouched down. Jack and my parents rushed to her side. Jack rubbed her back, desperately asking, "Are you okay?" "Jack, sorry, can you help me to the sofa?" "Of course, hold on to me." "Thank you so much." Lindsay leaned on Jack, looking over at me with a smirk. I knew it, this was probably just another one of her feigned illnesses. Indeed, she had been weak and visited the hospital since middle school. But since then, she only seemed to be in pain when it was convenient, like when we were fighting, or when I was praised by our parents. It always happened when someone else was getting attention. Lindsay always needs to be the center of attention. And right now, my fiancé, who was being praised, is the center of her focus. I had endured it until now, but not with my fiancé. As I watched, anger welled up inside me. Sensing something from my look, Lindsay put on a deliberately apologetic face. "I'm sorry, Alyssa, for coming here to greet you and Jack. It's okay, really. If you're feeling sick, you should lie down in your room. I feel lonely in my room alone. I prefer being where everyone is." "Is that a bother?" "Do as you like, we're leaving anyway." "There's no need to say it like that." Hearing this, my parents began yelling at me furiously. "Alyssa, why are you always so harsh on Lindsay? Why aren't you nicer to your sister?" "I didn't mean to be. You've always been like this. Lindsay can't move freely like you because of her illness. Don't you feel sorry for her? Why can't you prioritize your sister? We didn't raise you to be such a mean child." "That's not what I mean." In front of Jack, they berated me to the point where I felt overwhelmed and could not find the words to respond. Then Jack delivered the final blow. "You know, Lindsay seems like someone you'd want to protect." "Wait, what are you saying, Jack?" "Well, she seems to have her difficulties. But that doesn't mean you want to protect her. Your fiancé is me." Hearing this, my parents pressed him eagerly. "Really, Jack? We could trust you with Lindsay." "Me? Why don't you marry Lindsay instead? She looks better than Alyssa, and it'd be a good deal for you. Right? Let's do that." "Me, marry Lindsay?" As my parents got excited, Jack was overwhelmed by their enthusiasm. Lindsay watched, not entirely displeased by the situation. "What is this? I can't believe this. It's too cruel. I thought at least today they would celebrate with me. But in the end, it's always Lindsay." Tears overflowed as I couldn't hold them back anymore, and I rushed to the bathroom. From behind, I heard snickering. "Alyssa, you're really pitiful. Lindsay, you. It's crazy that someone who's not attractive is tying the knot with such a handsome guy. You're definitely out of your league. Uglies should find love with other uglies." "Stop it, Lindsay. Today was supposed to be important to me. You're just afraid of him choosing me over you. That just shows how unappealing you are. Don't joke around. What do you think our marriage is? Shut up, ugly. You should just live a lonely life forever. If you understand, leave Jack here and go back home already." At that moment, I felt my anger surpassing the limits and then cooling down completely. "I can't be happy staying with these people," I firmly told the smirking Lindsay. "I'm leaving without you having to tell me. Do whatever you want. I won't come back to this house again." "What? Are you sulking because your fiancé chose me? If Jack really chooses you, then that's fine. It means I was mistaken about him. He chose an ugly sister like you to begin with, shows he has no taste." "Well, fine. I'll take Jack, so you just disappear already." "Understood. Then, do as you please." I left the house, leaving my baggage and Jack behind. As I walked toward the station, Jack's car stopped beside me. He rolled down the driver's window and called out to me. "Don't leave me behind." "What now?" "You decided to marry Lindsay, didn't you?" "What are you talking about?" "I'm marrying you, Alyssa." "Don't mess around, you just said you wanted to protect her." That. But I really do want to protect the victims from Lindsay." "What? Victims? What do you mean by Lindsay's victims?" "Actually, I know about Lindsay." "What? You know Lindsay?" "I never thought she'd be your sister, but in my line of work, I get similar requests often. Men deceived by a woman, drained of their money. They all show the same woman's photo." "You mean, that was Lindsay?" "Yes, that's Lindsay. Jack is actually a detective. Recently, most of the people coming to him for consultations have been victims of Lindsay. He told me in detail that my sister Lindsay has been seducing wealthy men and swindling them out of their money. As soon as things get complicated, she cuts ties and disappears. Essentially, she's been behaving like a con artist." After hearing everything, I felt terrified of my own sister. "No way, she's been doing such awful things?" I was shocked to see the woman from the photos actually at Alyssa's home. I almost slipped up. "So you didn't actually fall for Lindsay?" "Of course not. No offense, but I wouldn't touch a scam artist like her." "That's a relief. I have a plan, though." "A plan?" What he proposed was unimaginable. A month later, I received an unexpected call from my sister. "Hello, Alyssa, you've heard from our parents about me and Jack, right?" "Well, yeah. Actually, this Saturday, I'm having an engagement announcement party with Jack." "Is that so? You'll come too, right?" "As my only sister." "Yeah, sure, Saturday, right?" "I'll definitely be there." "Thank you. I'm planning a fabulous party, so look forward to it. And sorry again for taking someone important from you." Lindsay hung up, sounding pleased, but I knew this party would lead her to her worst downfall. On the day, I dressed up and headed to the designated restaurant, where an unexpectedly large crowd had gathered, including our parents and relatives, as well as Lindsay's friends, who were making the place lively. In the center, Lindsay, blushing with the blessings from around, was being egged on by one of her friends. "Lindsay, I had no idea you were getting married, and to such a handsome guy at that. It all happened so quickly. You should have told us." Sorry. But that's why I invited you to the engagement party today, so forgive me, okay?" At that moment, Jack suddenly spoke up. "What are you talking about? I have no intention of marrying you." "What? What did you just say, Jack?" Jack calmly pressed on, addressing the surprised Lindsay. "I don't know what you're misunderstanding, but my fiancé is Alyssa, your older sister." "Wait, when you came over, didn't you say?" "What did I say?" "That you wanted to protect me. And even Mom and Dad said it's better if you were with Lindsay." "Yes, they did say that. But I never said I'd date you." Lindsay, her face turning red, confronted him. "What do you mean? Then why did you agree to this engagement party I proposed?" "Because I wanted to expose your true nature in front of everyone." "What do you mean?" Jack called out, and from behind the venue, a group of angry men appeared, making Lindsay's face turn pale. Jack, unfazed, continued with the microphone in hand. "Ladies and gentlemen, all the men here have been deceived and robbed by this woman, Lindsay." The revelation stirred the crowd. Lindsay looked down, blue-faced, as her parents flustered visibly. I also stood up with the microphone. "She may act frail and vulnerable, but that's her true nature." Jack added, looking at me. "By the way, I'm a detective. She might appear weak, but she smokes cigarettes without any issues. If her airways were really that weak, she wouldn't be able to smoke, right? Moreover, she pretends to be vulnerable to attract sympathy from our parents and shamelessly tries to take things from others. She even tried to take my fiancé, as evidenced by today's party that she planned." The crowd looked at Lindsay in shock, some, disgusted, started to leave. I can't believe Lindsay was such a person. I'm done being friends after today. As a relative, I'm embarrassed. How can she try to steal her older sister's fiancé? She doesn't deserve to be part of this family. Amidst the jeers, my parents and Lindsay began to tremble. Unable to withstand the situation, Lindsay confronted me loudly. Stop joking, Alyssa. Why are you doing this? I'm not joking. I responded calmly. It's all on you. You brought this on yourself. But you didn't have to go this far. Who are you to say that? You, a malicious woman, keep repeating the same mistakes. I don't want anything to do with such trash, nor do I need parents who defend it. I'm severing ties with you and this family today. Never show up in front of me again. Jack, echoing my sentiment coldly, added. That's right. From now on, I will be Alyssa's family. Please rest assured, and if you try to interfere, we will take appropriate actions. Are you serious? Let's go. Jack confidently took my arm, and we left the venue. Later, I heard that the place turned chaotic. The men deceived by Lindsay collectively demanded compensation from her. Some of them were married, resulting in claims from their wives as well, amounting to hundreds of thousands in payments. This pushed Lindsay and our parents to put in endless hours, dragging their lives down into a pit of sadness, and it was all due to their own actions. It was lucky for them that the police weren't involved. I'll never have anything to do with that family again. As for me, I'm happily married to Jack, who accepted me entirely. It was truly fortunate that he was a detective. From now on, I look forward to a happy life with Jack, my only true family.